Hi, it's Reindeer Games. We're doing this again. We have a few things to go over, but first I'd like to introduce you to our newest elf, Tina.
Hi, everybody.
If you come into the store on a Tuesday, usually, you will get to meet her, and she'll be helping you out, along with the rest of the staff, of course. But we thought it was the perfect opportunity to introduce you. She's been with us for a couple months, and she's going to help...
I'm going to tell you about the ElfSpecials.
So first we're going to go over a couple things, rules for Reindeer Games, how it's going to work, all that kind of stuff. So this year, same as last year, we're doing online orders only. With the amount of orders that we get in and the organization that has to go into it to keep everything straight, to make sure we don't make any mistakes, we need everything in the same system. So orders are online only, not in store, not over the phone. We are happy to help you out over the phone and walk you through putting an order in online so that you can, get the technical gist of it, and then you should be good on your own after that. But certainly we are happy to help if you're not extremely technically inclined. We are aiming to have the stockings ready for pickup by about December 14th. Of course, there's always the possibility that they could be ready before that, and we will send you an email to let you know when your stocking is ready. If there is any issue at all, we will give you an email detailing what the problem is, and then we can go from there. This year, unfortunately, we did have to limit the stock on some items. With the current state of the supply chain and shipping nightmares, we just felt it was safer to limit the stock on some things based on what we could actually get our hands on. So we have pre-ordered some stock, and if you go onto the website and you see in the collection for the day a thumbnail for an item that says limited quantities, that means if you want it, you should order it. And if you see that limited quantity flag and then go in to order it and it says sold out, that means you were too late. I know that's going to cause some disappointment, but that was the best we could do. And we wanted to make sure that some of the things that we really offer every year, because they're staples in our sewing room, we wanted to make sure they were available, but we didn't want to end up overselling and causing even greater disappointment when we had to either cancel the order or make you wait forever to get it. So the motto for this year is shop early.
And don't keep things in your cart.
Yes.
Check out.
So you do have to check out every day. The deals, except for the ElfSpecials that aren't in limited quantities, are only good for that day. The ElfSpecials are good all week, but if you see a limited quantity flag on one of those, you're going to want to order it early because it could be gone by the time you come back. You can't keep things in your cart, as Tina said. They'll be gone the next day and the deal won't be available because those deals are only good for that day on the reindeer days. Trying to think. Oh, shipping. So there is a $15 flat rate for shipping. You pay it once on your first order, and then on subsequent orders, you'll choose the option that says Reindeer Games paid previously, and then it won't charge you any extra shipping.
So you can check out every day, but you don't have to have it shipped every day. You're getting it shipped at once.
At the end of the Reindeer Games. Mm-hmm. There are a couple caveats to that we have some pre-orders. I'm not going to give it all away right now. That will ship after Christmas more than likely. But we will detail those when they come up so you know in advance what is going to ship and what is not. That's a lot of rules.
Not really.
But I think...
Check out every day.
Yeah.
Check in, see what we've got. check out.
Yeah, we just want to manage expectations and make sure we're all on the same page. So we should get to the fun stuff.
Ooh, lots of fun stuff here. What are you going to talk about first?
How about we go over the wool mats?
Wool mats. I love these. We have all these sizes. We have the little guys that can sit right beside your sewing table. We have the big guys in all different sizes. We've got the 9x9s, 14x14, 17x17, and then the big guy 17x24. That's great at your ironing table. It really retains heat, and it's great for pressing open your seams.
Yeah, I love mine. Use it all the time. And you might find that when you first use it, it kind of smells like a wet sheep.
Yes, it does. Not for long.
I found that smell went away after a while.
Yeah.
It depends on if you use steam or not. The one thing I will say too is that you might see a lot of people using these just on their table like this, saying that they're thick enough that the heat doesn't go through. If you use even just a little bit of steam, I would put something protective underneath it because the moisture will go through. Another tip too, when you're done using it for the day, I usually kind of grab it and just stand it up against the wall like that so that there's some airflow on either side, and that helps to make sure that it doesn't stay all wet and gross underneath.
And don't put it on your cutting mat because it will warp it.
It will.
How do I know that?
Even after you're done with it. Somebody here was ironing some stuff, and then we were moving a couple things around, and it had been, 15 minutes since she had used it, and put it on the ironing or the cutting mat just to get it out of the way. Yeah. And we picked it up like half an hour later, and the edge of the cutting mat was all kind of warped. Yeah. So yeah. Good thing it wasn't a great cutting mat, but it still makes it kind of unusable.
I'm going to talk about this.
Sure.
So this is the posture aid. I bought one of these last year during Reindeer games. I love it. I wasn't sure if I'd like it. It's it's almost like a backpack. So you put it on. You have to adjust it. So, read the instructions.
It fits you.
It has to fit you properly. And it just helps your posture. Because when you're sewing the backpack, the weight in the back will pull you back so you're sitting up properly when you're sewing. You're not all hunched over. So you want to read the instructions. You don't want to wear it for 12 hours. If you're sewing for 12 hours, good for you. But don't wear this the whole time. Wear it for a couple hours, get used to it, and then try it again. But it really will save your back from hunching over.
And it's not a ton of weight, right? I think it was just like 2 pounds or something like that.
It's just enough.
And so it's just enough to remind you, just to keep your shoulders back, your back straight, and not be having a nap on the table. We want to go into pressing. If you are getting out or you are sewing at a little spot in the corner in your home, or going to retreats or classes or anything like that, and you prefer to take your own iron, because a lot of places still aren't sharing tools at the moment, you might want to pick up a cute little travel iron. These are great. You can put water in them if you prefer to use steam. That's not a problem. And they get pretty hot, just almost as hot as your regular iron. And they keep everything nice and tiny.
You have this with your little wool mat right beside where you're working. And if you're doing little small piecing, it's really nice and quick.
Yeah.
And you don't have to get up and down and up and down. It's right beside you. It's great for that.
Yep.
Do you clean your machine every time you start a new project?
I
do, because I took it in for service, and he asked me, do you clean every time you start a project? Not really. He said you have to, because you're ruining your machine. He said he could have made a little bundle just with all the stuff he pulled out of my machine.
Like there was a nest in your machine.
Yeah. So clean your machine regularly. Try to clean your machine every time.
We don't need that kind of negativity, Tina.
Really clean it though, because it's embarrassing when you take your machine in and he tells you how dirty it is. And we have little cleaning brushes, and they get into all the little crevices when you pull out the race of your bobbin. So you pull out your bobbin, yank the thing in clean under the race there, the little bobbin, the thing that spins around.
Yep.
And put it all back together and do a little test strip, and you'll hear it sounds better.
Yeah. And if your machine is one of those that needs oiling, remember to oil it too. A lot of the more modern machines don't require that, but if you have a slightly vintage machine, remember to oil it. It makes it run so much nicer. Speaking of doing things every time you start a new project, needles. Unfortunately, this year, I've got some more bad news for you, but we just found out a little while ago that we are in the middle of a needle shortage. There are only a couple of manufacturers of needles, one of them being Oregon, which makes the Superior titanium top stitch needles for Superior, and they are extremely behind in production. So we only have 2 sizes this year to offer you, and unfortunately, one or both of them may be in limited quantities. So we have the 7010s and the 9014s. I usually use the 9014s for quilting when I'm going a little bit faster. You need a slightly heavier needle going through a few layers of fabric. The 7010s are a good alternative to the 8012s if you use those, but you probably wouldn't want to use them with anything heavier than, say, like a 50 weight Aurifil. Anything heavier than that, and you're probably going to end up getting a little bit of shredding. So as an alternative, we did manage to get our hands on some Oregon titanium quilting needles, which, if you remember, I said Oregon actually makes the top stitch needles for Superior. So the difference between the quilting needles and the top stitch needles is just the size of the eye, basically. And the tip on a top stitch needle is a little bit sharper. On a quilting needle, it's still sharp, but not super sharp. So it's not a ball point by any means, but if you use a regular quilting needle in your quilting, you will love the titanium ones because they last 5 to 8 times longer than a regular chrome needle. So for those who don't want to take the leap to titanium and just are adamant about changing their needle with every project, we still have the Smets Universal 10 packs as well, and those are in an 8012. I think that's it for needles.
Yeah. You've got lots of blades out here, different
Yep.
sizes, 3 sizes.
If you're quilting, you need blades. So we have the full selection of Olfa blades. If you've used Olfa blades and at some point tried another blade instead, you know that the Olfa blades last longer, they're sharper, they're just much better quality. If you haven't tried the endurance blades, and I was just talking with Kim the other day that I wished these came in multi-packs as well, but unfortunately Olfa has only packaged them in single blades so far. You need to pick one up and try one. I tried one for myself for the first time at the beginning of the year, and I put it in one of the cutters here when we were getting ready to cut a lot of kits and a lot of pre-cuts and all of that, and I marked the date on the blade, and I just wanted to see how long it would last.
I use that blade still.
With us cutting here, and that blade I think lasted like 5 months. And we change a blade in our cutters probably about once a month here, if we don't end up nicking it on something.
And they're like butter.
Yeah.
Butter.
Yeah.
Cuts like butter.
Yeah. You take out a new blade, one of the regular blades, and it's nice. It's sharp. It cuts great. You take out one of the endurance blades, oh my gosh. I can't even describe it. It's like 10 times better. So you need to try.
And I saved my old blades and I put them in another cutter for cardboard
paper.
and paper.
Yeah.
Do not use paper with these amazing blades.
Yeah.
They're not happy with that.
I do that too. And we do have another little tool coming up on one of the next days that helps you use up your old blades too.
I've seen it. I'm getting one.
Wink, wink. So save those old blades. What else do we have left to talk about? Thread.
Thread.
Yep.
The big cones.
Yep.
Those are, I love watching them go down and down and down and down. It takes a while to get through these. You got to do some big projects.
It does. So we're going to have them in 5 colors. And yeah, like, I mean, this will last you forever. You do a ton of piecing. They're 50 weight, just like the smaller spools. Then we also have the necessities collection. I don't know if I can open this box. Well, I'm not going to try.
No, it's sealed.
Nope.
Sealed for your own protection.
So there's 4 regular size spools in there. White, light gray, beige, and black. We'll pop an image of those ones in the video. But those are great too if you just like to have a few of the basics on hand. And the one thing that we sold out of before we did the video, so we didn't even have one for the video, was 505 spray. If you use that for basting your quilts or doing embroidery or whatever, we have that on special too. So it's always a great time to pick it up and stock up for a good price. I think that's it.
I think that's it. We've covered everything. We just shop if it's in your cart, check out.
Yep.
And then at the end of the week, check every day for the reindeer specials.
Yes.
Some good ones coming up.
Yep.
I've seen them. I'm very excited. And the elf specials, I'm the elf. I would say almost all of these are on my wish list. I already have this and this, so I don't need those.
Yep.
But I have a big wish list. Just saying.
All right. Okay. So that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy shopping.
Bye.